Hi, I'm John Ferguson, and today I'm up front on OTR.
Off the Record with Michael Landsberg. Brought to you by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. For great steaks, good friends. See you tonight.
You've got to find out what John Ferguson Jr., what kind of impact he wants to put on this team.
Our 21st overall selection in 2005 Energy Draft.
Goaltender Tuukka Rask.
Boston trades Andrew Raycroft to Toronto in exchange for the rights to Tuukka Rask.
13th pick, Toronto Maple Leafs are proud to select Yuri Tulusti.
Yuri Tulusti, not Tulusti or Lusti. When you're on that stage, you do not want to screw it up. Be honest, John Ferguson, did you rehearse Tulusti's name?
I did. I knew how to say it.
But you were pretty sure going up there that you wanted to nail that sucker, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Your worst nightmare, were you there? Obviously you were, when Bob Clark couldn't remember Claude Giroux's name?
Yeah, I heard it, but you got the pick right.
Yeah, good choice. Let's talk about good choice, bad choice. Who would you choose? You are the director of pro scouting for the San Jose Sharks, so you would not be necessarily telling them who to draft in the amateur draft, correct?
No, Timmy Burke will handle that.
Okay, so New York Islanders have the #1 pick, Tampa Bay #2. Yeah. Hedman, Tavares. Who do you see as #1?
Well, I still think Tavares will end up going #1, but organizational need could dictate otherwise, and I know the Islanders and the next team, Tampa, could use either player.
So if you were rating them as they are rated, so you have the ability to compare them regardless of position, how close are they, or are they identical as prospects?
Well, they're at the top of both scales, both guys. So if you want to call them 9, you want to call them a 10 with projection. Certainly the size, skill aspect of Hedman gets you there.
You traded your first rounder, San Jose did, for Dan Boyle. I imagine if you could revisit that, you wouldn't change that at all.
No, I'm sure we'd do that deal in a second.
Okay, so here's what I'm dying to know. You've made trades from the draft floor, right? Raycroft, you traded for Toskala as well from the draft floor. Yeah. Does this stuff unfold as the draft is going on, or is the groundwork for the major deals almost always set?
The groundwork is set, but you've always got different options, and teams have an understanding of what players are out there and what picks are there. And I know with Boston, they were waiting to see which player was going to be available before they pulled the trigger.
So you have a phone at your draft table, right? Yeah. So the phone rings and you go, hello, and like, how does that conversation take place? Because that's something that none of us have ever heard, but you have.
Well, you get a caller ID, but also I like
get a caller ID?
I like to, yes, you do.
So it shows up, Boston
yes,
Bruins?
So the number. And then, because you never know who's on the other end of the phone, and there have been some jokes played. And I usually try to take a look across to make sure I'm talking to the right person, and you use your cell phone as well. Typically that's not jammed.
So, and do you have to lower your voice? Because this is all in theory.
Yeah, for sure you cover it up because it's so competitive, and you got to cover up the names, and you got to talk low, and if you're picking a North American, you don't just call your North American scout over. You got to call a North American and a European to get over your shoulders so the next team doesn't know exactly what you're thinking.
Have you been on the line with another general manager and call waiting went, so you had another call? Has that happened?
Yeah, for sure. Although they don't have call waiting, they got 2 lines.
2 lines.
Yeah.
What? But also you can do the walkover, right? Where guys will come over and then you'll hear James Duthie going, John Ferguson is now strolling over. Looks like he's going to stop with the Philadelphia Flyers. He's having a conversation with Paul Holmgren.
Yeah, the shoulder tap, we can call that one.
Do you get, like when you were GM on draft day, were you nervous? Because that's one of your big days.
It's a Super Bowl for the draft, for the scouting staff, for sure. And that's the biggest day of the year for them, and it can positively and negatively impact your franchise for many years, and you're pumped up, there's no question, because you're going there to make your team better.
Does your wife have your line, your number at the draft table?
The cell phone number, yes, but I don't give her the number for the line. No.
Let me put you in the position now of Brian Murray, right? Danny Heatley publicly says, I want to be traded. How much does that compromise Murray's ability to make the best possible deal?
Well, I think it definitely compromises his ability there. Now, when you look at the entire chronology of the events, now everyone knows he's available. So it does. So if you're Brian, one of the challenges I think with Mike O'Connell when he traded Joe Thornton was there were some people who later said, well, he never called us, and sometimes I think he was unfairly criticized for not shopping him enough. Brian now, I mean, everyone certainly knows.
And also there's the idea, and he said this, that people will take it seriously, that if he calls guys up and says, I want to trade Danny Heatley, what are you going to offer me? People don't believe him necessarily.
Yeah, no, it does remove some of the uncertainty, and clearly, I think that allows him to probably make the best deal he can make.
You know, I just love the perspective you gave me, talking on the phone and the call waiting and the call display and all of that. We're going to shift over there. The panel is waiting. A guy that apparently you played with, Tony Twist, is over there. Coming up tomorrow, the boys from PTI, Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon will say, hello, Canada. It's one of the most inventive sports shows ever. Way more inventive than this one. That's coming up tomorrow on OTR. Where's Danny Heatley going? It's the question everyone wants answered. Only OTR has got the answer. Next.